All right, everyone, we are live. We are live today, Monday. It's Monday again. And I don't know if you all know this, but I live in the Houston area, and the Astros won. Good for them. Good for them. They're having a parade today. Okay, so the Astros are having a parade today, and apparently the schools have decided that there's no school today. Didn't know that, didn't realize that. My youngest woke up, went to school, and turns out that there's no school today. So my wife started a new job today as well. So interesting Monday morning. All right, so I will be going over the weekly Bitcoin chart today. Yes, the weekly. So I got it up right now, as you can see it. I'm actually making sure everything's okay. All the settings are right. I can't see the live chat, even though if I put it on, I can't see the live chat. Oh, Tomcat, Monday sucks. Hey, I see the live chat. It works. Amazing. Yeah, Monday sucks, but you know what's funny is as soon as the price starts to trend upwards, okay, as soon as the price starts trending upwards, everybody and their mother who's doing like cryptocurrency videos, they have a cryptocurrency channel, they're going live Monday mornings now. Kind of interesting, isn't it? When the price is down and no one's interested, everybody wants nobody wants to talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. But soon as there's an uptick in price, all of a sudden, everybody and their mother wants to make Bitcoin live streams. Oh, not the one. I'm looking at the weekly. I'm trying to get rid of this here. Clear that. That's what happens when I let me refresh it. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. You know, let's see if the live chat is still working. Oh, maybe not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, I will be in the live chat here. I'm actually in front of my computer. We'll just wait a little bit for some people to come in. I'll let you look at the chart. This is what I've been looking at for the last, I would say, at least 2 months. My original prediction is that they would break the trend line and it would start trending up. It would break it. The short sellers are exhausted. There's nowhere, I wouldn't say there's nowhere to go but up. But I would say that in the short term, definitely, definitely the price is going to be trending upwards. Okay. All right. So I'll be chatting with you. Let's see if the chat shows up. Nope, it doesn't show up. It shows up that one time and it doesn't. So I have a little bit better setup here. I've got the live stream going. I got the chat going in front of me. I'm also wearing I'm also wearing reading glasses so I could see my small little phone in front of me, which you probably aren't seeing. Maybe you could see it. I have it set up where it's in a vertical setup. I have it set up where it's vertical, mainly because I would say more than 50% of my audience watch through their phones, and so I just don't see a point in live streaming off of my PC. So this week we'll go over the chart analysis. I think last week I talked about the price breaking out of this very tight range that it's been for the last, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. If you count from now, it's been 7 weeks. So, like I said, the last 2 months, almost eight weeks here. So, if you see, I still have now these are Fibonacci retracement lines. I don't really use Fibonacci retracement lines. I just use that to get a range from where it is, from the low of 18,157 to the 20,464. That's kind of been the range that when I put the Fibonacci lines in there, that's what we were arranging. And so I kept that in there just for reference. I think I talked about what was some of my original predictions. My original prediction is that it would break up, which it eventually did. I was just 6 weeks ahead, way ahead. My predicted time was October 10th. No, October 16th when that would happen. It happened the week after October 16th. So 1 week after, then it started breaking up. I was a little concerned because, when you're working on a weekly chart, when you're working on a longer time frame of a chart, it's really hard to be accurate with your predictions because they don't happen like on a 1 minute candlestick or a hourly or even a daily. Weekly just takes such a long time. What you're looking at here is basically goes all the way back to August. Let me move my little symbol here. August, at least August, but probably July. So you're looking at almost like 4, maybe 5 months of history here, condensed in in a very small amount of candlesticks. So it's really hard to make accurate timeline predictions, but considering I'm looking at a weekly and I'm looking at almost a 6 months worth of charts, I was off by 1 week. Not too bad, not too bad. Then again, when I'm right, I'll claim that I'm right. When I'm wrong, I'll just blow it off. That's how it goes with people who trade all the time. That's how it goes all the time. So, all right. So basically, okay, so I made a prediction it was going to go up. I was worried that it would go down because I didn't see any price action movement. I didn't see the price move in my way, so I was concerned I was wrong. After a while, I saw that it was kind of ranging, and that's when I drew the Fibonacci lines to give you an idea of how to play the market a little bit. If it breaks above 20,469, you're taking a momentum trade. When it breaks above that, you make your first trade. It's usually a small amount, and you're adding onto it as it goes up. In this case, we're talking about if it goes up. At the time, I was talking about if it goes up or if it goes down. If it breaks out of those two ranges, the top side being 20,469, the bottom side being 18,157. So, looks like the market has decided to go up. All right, it's slightly trending up. If you look at the that white line, that is a 10-period weighted moving average or estimated moving average. If you see that yellow line up on top, that is a 30-period moving average. I believe it's a 30-period moving average. I just can't find anything that says that it is or isn't. So if you look at that, the price is above that 10-period moving average, and I say 10-period because I'm looking at on a weekly chart, so it's 10-week period and a 30-week period. Very slow to move, but it has moved. So if you look at the current candlestick, which is red, never make a trade judgment or never make a trade based on the current candlestick, especially on a weekly. So we're going to ignore that. But if you look at the previous one, where it's kind of like has a long wick on the top and bottom, but it is above the breaking price of 20,469. It finished above. Okay, you got to look at where the candlestick finishes, not where it is now. So don't look at the current candlestick. You should probably ignore that. Look at the past candlesticks that have finished. All right. So let me see if I can put a little. There you go. So I put a line on it. I put a line on it right there, so you guys can see the candlestick I'm talking about. So if you look at that candlestick, That's the one we're going to focus on in the past. Don't look at the current candlestick because it could change. Because I was watching the candlestick that the crosshairs are on. It went down. It actually went below the 10-period moving average, and I was kind of concerned that it might fall off of that. It's like my concern was it was uh, a false signal. And that happens a lot when you do momentum trading. You'll run into a lot of false signals. That's why your first trade is always very small. You break it down into small trades, and as the momentum in this case goes up, you're adding on to the trade. Usually, it's the moving average, whatever the moving, well, not the moving average, but whatever the price, whatever the daily or weekly moving average is. So if it moves on average $50 a week, $1,000 a week, that's kind of where you. Well, let me backtrack. When you do these trades, first of all, you got to look at your total balance if you're trading on the exchanges, and I'm talking to mainly people who are traders. It's 10% of your overall balance, like cash balance that you have. Because if you're going short, you're going to get a margin call. If you go long, it kind of doesn't matter. So, in this case, if you're going long, then you're just losing the value of what you bought with the trade. If you're going to short, you're actually taking that against the balance of cash you have in the account. So that's why you want to take 10%. And that way you can limit your losses if the price moves against you. So it should be about 10%. And then what you're doing is you're adding, let's say you have 10,000. I'm just giving round numbers. So 10% is a $100 trade. So you're just buying $100 worth of Bitcoin. And then your next order, your next price where you should be going in is the average price movement for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, whatever time frame you're looking at. And so I don't know what it is, but I guess you can figure that out. Whatever the average price movement is. I don't know what it is offhand. So you just have to calculate. You have to take the price range for whatever the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, however long you want to go. And then you average that price range, which the price moved. It moved $100, $1,000, $3,000, whatever. You average it out, and that's your next purchase when you're adding on to the momentum trade. That's if you're doing momentum trade. Some people have variations of it. So what about your stop loss? So if you're going long and you're doing this momentum trade, what should be your stop loss, right? Where should you put your stop loss or limit order or whatever you want to put? Some place to get exit out of the trade, right? Now, I don't know if some exchanges have this feature. And by the way, I have no skin in the game. I want to disclose that. I'm not giving any financial advice. All right. I'm just giving you my experience from trading and my experience from watching the cryptocurrency markets, Bitcoin in particular. I've been watching it. I'm very fascinated by it. I have traded in the past. I no longer do so. So I have no skin in the game. I'm just giving you my opinions on this and what I think is going to happen, because it's kind of fun to do that. So as far as stop losses or limit orders or a price to get you exit out of the trade, if you're trading on the exchanges, which this video is mostly for those people, the best strategy, honestly, if you want to maximize your profit, if you want to maximize money, is to just buy and hold. That's really the best way to do it. Buy and hold. Okay, I've just I've been watching it for a while. I've been watching the Bitcoin for a while, and you know what? Of all the people out there who are claim to be experts at trading, if they simply just bought and hold when they first got into the market, they would all be probably at least a few millionaires, maybe a couple hundred millionaires. Possibly some of them are could have been a billionaire, but you know how things go. They talk a lot, but they have nothing to show for it. Yeah, Tomcat. People only talk about the winners. They never talk about the losers. And the reality is, there's a very high chance that you're a loser. There's actually there's actually a very high chance that you're a loser, and a very small chance that you're a winner, because the way the market works is it takes from the many losers out there, and there are many losers, and the money goes to the very few winners. And that's how the market works, okay? And that's reality. That's the truth. And I wouldn't say on average you're 33% right and 66% wrong. I'm just basing that on the way the price moves. The price moves in three directions: up, down, and sideways. But the reality is it fluctuates. And so a lot of times people make the mistake of exiting a trade at a loss. So really, technically you're right on your call of where the price action moves, but because you exit out of the trade before you actually saw the price through on what your predictions were, you end up with a loss. So really, the truth is you're probably like 9 to 5% right, or 9 to 5% right in making money, and 95% losing money. So 5% people actually make money, most likely, and 95% of you are losers. So you lose money. So my one advice, my only advice is buy and hold, hodl. And hodl does not mean hold on for dear life. It means hold. It was just misspelled. It was typoed. It's a typo. Okay, hodl. So really, that is the best strategy. Just buy and hold and wait probably 5, maybe even 10 years, and you'll probably end up very, very rich, most likely, at least Bitcoin rich. DXY is showing weakness. I don't know what DXY is. I'm not into the altcoins, but let me finish up my thought real quick. I'll take a look at the market, and we'll take a look at DXY. But so if you're on the exchange and you're looking for an exit strategy, or how do you figure out a stop loss or limit order, depending which way you go, long or short, it's basically it is the I think it is the average, the price average for the period that you're looking at, whatever, 4 or 5, 10 weeks, and you times that by 3. So if the price movement was about $100, for example, like it's been moving on average $100, okay, that's the range that the price has been moving. Well, your stop loss or limit order is 300. So you have to take the current price where you entered into the trade, and depending where you go long and short, your stop loss being at $300 below, limit order being $300 above. And in some exchanges, you can have a trailing stop. All right, a trailing stop. So what it does is, I don't know if some of these exchanges do it or not. I don't go on exchanges anymore, but I know this feature is available on traditional markets. You have trailing stops, or trailing market orders, or trailing limit orders. As let's say you're entering into a trade, it goes up $100, where your stop loss Remember, it's at $300. Well, it will move $100 from where you placed it, and then it'll stay there until it gets pulled upwards. I'm giving you an example. And then eventually what ends up happening is, as the price starts to stall out, if it's going up and comes back down, hopefully you've gone more than $300 in price going up, because if you just barely hit 300 and the price slams back down, you made no money. So there's that strategy. Ultimately, in a momentum trade, what you really want to do is you want to wait. So you have your original stop loss or mark or limit order, whatever it is. As the price goes up, and then the price will go down, you want to make sure the price isn't going to hit your stop loss. If it is, it's a losing trade. You're going to take a loss. You're going to take an L for it, because it was a false signal. And with momentum trading, you get a lot of that. You'll get a lot of false signals. That's why you take a small trade. That's why your trade is very small in the beginning, and then you add on top of it as the price goes in your direction. And so you're going to take a lot of losses, but if it works out, you win big time. That's the strategy of momentum trading. Okay, Tomcat says that Bitstamp still does that. So Bitstamp still has a trailing stop, or trailing market order, or trailing limit order, I should say. I think it's a limit order for shorts. Anyways, it's called something different when you're shorting, and it's different when you're going long. But it's basically basically a stop loss. It's a way for you to exit the trade, set up a point in the price to exit the trade, so it prevents you from either taking a tremendous amount of loss, or it helps you just exit the trade at a profit, depending if you're in the green or in the red. So, all right, so let's take a look at some of the different markets here. Oh, no, don't want to go there yet. Let's refresh this. Let's refresh it. Okay, so there you go. So we're looking at the a list of all the prices, and it's ordered by market cap. Let me see, DXY, did you say DXY? I don't even see it here. Look at all these cryptocurrencies that have flooded the market. Most of them are not really worth anything, in my opinion, but yet they exist. Oh, if it's not in the top 50, if it's not in the top 50, I don't want to really look at it. Sorry, Tomcat. But yeah, if you say DXY shows weakness, that's great. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I don't even know what DXY is. What does it stand for? Oh, it's the US dollar. Oh, okay. So the dollar is showing weakness, and that's what's causing the price to go up, because the dollar has really been strong. Yeah, that's a good point. We could, I don't know, we could probably take a look at the US dollar here. Hold on. Let me go over some of the other things here. Let's see if I'm going to take a quick look at the mempool. I like to look at the mempool to see if it spiked. It kind of spiked. It's not that bad. That's within normal range. I like to see if it spikes, because a lot of people want to move their coins into exchanges or use their coins and move it around. And no, looks like it doesn't look like much. Of course, I'm only looking at the 2 hour. Let's have a look at the 1 week. Let's see if we could find any correlation. All right, it did spike a little bit, probably about the same time when the peak of the price, which was between November 1st and November 5th. A lot of coins were being moved during that time, which I think probably correlates to, if you look at this candlestick, it probably peaked during the top of this right here. Let's see if I can get the top at 21. Probably around at 21,000. When it reached 21,000, most likely you'll see a lot of coins being moved. That's what I look at. It makes sense. If everything makes sense, it kind of, if it makes sense, then I'll accept it. When things don't make sense, like the price is moving up, but I'm not seeing a lot of movement in the transactions, and the price is just going up for no reason, that makes me want to look into a little bit more on why that is. Oh, there's a crypto fear and greed index. I didn't even know that. I had no idea. You know, it does make sense. You want to be contrarian when people are selling. Well, not when people are selling, you want to be buying. When people are panic selling, or when people are at, I wouldn't say at the peak of panic selling, because that's when usually that's when you're in the middle of a sell-off. You want to wait after the panic selling, and you want to wait. You want good technical analysis, but I would say, yeah, right now would probably, or at least the last 4 weeks would have been a really good time to dip your toe into the Bitcoin market. I would say from this point on, because I'm my original, what I'm gonna see, I am gonna make a longer term prediction here, or what I think is happening. It could be dollar weakness, that could be it, but also I've seen this pattern before. Now, when I talk about patterns, I'm talking about the way the price moves. All right, during certain points, the peak, the panic selling, when it gets to a bottoming, and then it goes to a range. All right, goes up and down, whipsaws up and down, and then a slow, gradual increase leading up to the halving, which I think the price will start to increase around November next year. 2023. 2023, right? Yeah, because the halving is in around, I think, March 2024. I believe so. So, the price doesn't skyrocket when the Bitcoin halving happens. Okay, it usually happens before that. I would think, because of couple reasons. Everybody knows that the price is going to go up. Miners know the price is going to go up because it's going to be half. So they're going to get half the amount of Bitcoin, but still have the same cost of, running a mining farm. So that is a metric of what Bitcoin is valued at. There is some valuation that you could put onto a Bitcoin at minimum, is basically what it costs to run a mining farm, at least, because that's what it takes to mint a Bitcoin, to bring it into the world, so to speak, bring it to, I guess, reality, at least digital reality. Other coins, especially staking coins, there's no way you could put any intrinsic value on stake coins. It's just the whim of whoever has either the most amount of stake or the most amount of money. It's highly manipulated also through the developers. They can start issuing more tokens. They can start decreasing tokens at will. So I usually stay away from these stake. It's a big experiment. I think that is if you run the course long enough, doomed to failure. But anyways, so the pattern I'm talking about is not like a uh, and this is you're gonna see a lot of this, the Bart Simpson pattern, where the chart looks like Bart Simpson's head. I've seen a lot of those memes go around, but that's not the pattern I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a W or a V or a double top, a double bottom. I'm just talking about overall pattern that I've seen in the past after the peak, the panic selling, the bottoming, the range, and then the slow increase. And then by the time you get to the slow increase, what's happening is basically the miners are, I think, ramping up or getting they're hodling because they know they're about to get less Bitcoin but have the same amount of cost. Therefore, when they sell their coins, they have to get more money for them to cover the cost and expense of running a mining farm. And so that usually happens before the halvening, not during or after the halvening. And so you're going to see that slow run up in price because there's going to be a restriction in supply. It's really just supply and demand. I mean, it happens every year. Not every year. It happens every halvening. And so I don't even know why. I guess for all the new people, and there are so many new people. There's a sucker born every day. In other words, there are new people that have come into this market. There are new people born into the world that eventually grow up old enough to become the greater fool, in which, they become the useful idiot. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, goodness. The cycle just, it never ends. It's infinite. So they become the greater fool, and then they become the bag holder, and then they go through the cycle again: the peak, the panic selling, the bottom, the range, and then the newborns come into the market, the newbies, right? They become the greater fool. The bag holder dumps their bags. Usually they dump their bags at the worst time too, right when they reach, or right when the price starts to explode, starts to peak out. That's when they dump their bags onto the greater fools out there. And the greater fools, man, they become the useful idiots because they feel good about it because they're making a lot of money at that time, and the cycle begins over again. So the pattern is basically, so this pattern that I'm talking about, okay, I'm going to drill it back down. So this pattern I'm talking about is what you're going to probably see is an increase in price in the short term. So the price will go up, and I'm going to stick to my original prediction of where it's going to probably top out. I think it's going to be about 23,000. It's not going to be. Yes, it has broken the trend line. If you know what trend line I'm talking about, if you take the recent high of 69,000 and then the next, I don't know, the next point where you can make the trend line, just connect the two dots. You'll eventually come to a point right here at this moment that you're looking at on the screen, where basically you're seeing the current price break above that trend line. And yes, it did, but it's not the beginning of the bull market. What it is that is the first signal, that is the beginning of the bottoming. All right. Has it bottomed? No, it has not bottomed. It is the beginning of the bottoming. It's going to break above that trend line. It's going to look like it's going to break out, but it's not. We are still in a bear market, okay? Long term, I'm still negative sentiment. Short term, I am bullish because it is going to go up in price. And I think it's going to probably hit around 23,000. And once it hits 23,000, it'll probably stall out, most likely. And from there, it's going to just dive back down into the trend line, the downward trend line. It's going to dive back down there. And it'll probably get to a point where it dances above the top of that trend line. and then you're gonna see the range, the whipsaw, go up and down, and you'll see that a lot, and it'll be based on news. Like right now, I'm seeing people put out news that because of the midterms, the price of Bitcoin is gonna go up or down or whatever. It's gonna be something lame, and usually there is some weird correlation on some kind of current event with the price of Bitcoin. You could probably find some kind of correlation. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's any causation. Like because there's the midterms and one party won more seats than the other party or whatever. um, Something like Elon Musk bought Twitter or there's some kind of event that you'll try to rationalize it into the chart, whatever it is. It's there might be some correlation, but it doesn't necessarily mean that was the causation. So, but you'll see a lot of people come out with videos talking about that. Sorry, I'm taking a drink of my morning coffee. I'm starting to take coffee again. Decaf, though. Just starting decaf. A lot of milk. So that's probably what's going to happen. It's probably going to go up 23,000 and then come back down. So the people who are taking the momentum trade, you'll probably break even. I think you'll break even. If you exit out on top, you'll probably come out with some profit, but I would say for the momentum traders out there, if they are taking that position, it's probably not going to be a big winner for you, because I know where the price is headed. It's still long-term sentiment is that it's still trending downwards. And once the bull market return, the problem is to get a confirmation that we're back in the bull market. You won't know until it's too late. And by then you'll probably already be in the middle of the bull market before you realize you're in the bull market has started. So the best strategy is simply to buy and hold, average cost, whatever. The best way to do it is when the price is going down. That's when you want to do it. You could probably do it as the price is going up, but you get the best value, the most bang for your dollar as the price is going down. But can you stomach, the low prices? If you have the budget and you can hodl, you understand the concept of hodl, it's not an issue. But it's very hard because you're seeing the value of what your investment, your coins or whatever, depreciate in value during that whole time. You won't realize that appreciation until like maybe 2 to 3 years. Hello, Thomas. How you doing? I'm glad to see you. I'm a little surprised that you're here in this live chat, but welcome to the live chat. Yeah, Monday mornings I do Bitcoin chart analysis. Cotton Candy is not here, although Cotton Candy is here. The Astros won the World Series. They're having a parade today, so for some reason the school here decided to have no school today, I guess to give all the kids the chance to go to the parade. So poor Cotton Candy, she woke up early this morning and she went to school only to find out that there is no school. So she walked back and thank goodness we didn't, I don't work. So I just stay home. I'm successfully unemployed is what I tell people. And so thank goodness that, somebody's home so she could be at the house. So she's upstairs probably playing Roblox. You know how that goes. And also my wife started a new job. So if she still had her old job, she would have left like way early. But her new job is actually closer to our house, and so she leaves a little bit later. So good thing we're home. Otherwise, she would have just kind of been home by herself. She was in the oil and gas business. She worked for a company for the oil and gas company, She didn't like it. She didn't like her boss, so she went to go find another job, and she's at a shipping company now. So she has experience with international shipping, like container ship. But I think this is some kind of container ship shipping company or something. Oh, it's snowing today where you are. Well, good. It's winter. It's winter. Next week, well, it's 80 degrees today, but I think by next week it's going to drop down to 60 where I am. Oh, Tomcat, you should have. You have some oil. It's in a bull market now. Well, the problem is where she works. They had a lot of oil wells in Russia. Well, because of the sanctions on Russia, they had to leave Russia. So, like, I would say half of their employees were basically no, we're not in Russia. They have oil wells in Russia. They have oil wells. They had oil wells. They bought lease for oil wells in Russia, and then the sanctions hit, and so half the employees had to. This is a foreign company, foreign oil company, that's that has a an office in Houston. So half of their employees had to go back to wherever they came from, whatever country. It wasn't Russia, but it's a foreign company, an oil foreign oil company, and so and she didn't like her new boss. They rotate their bosses every 3 or 5 years. They send them here to the Houston area for whatever they do, and so she didn't like it, and then they were outsourcing a lot of her work. She does administrative and accounting work, so they were starting to outsource a lot of her work, and so she's just like, you know what? I'll just find another job that that pays me better, slightly better, at least gives her the time an hour, and then she likes it. So she gave him 2 weeks notice. I think Friday was her last day, so today her was the start of her new job. Yeah, I'm in Texas. Yeah, her boss was mean. Her boss was mean. She would come home and she would like be in a really bad mood and talk about how her boss was like mean and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. Otherwise, yeah, it is a pretty stable. It kind of, I guess, it was a pretty stable job. I mean, she probably could have worked there, but I think she's happier now. So hopefully it works out because I'm not working. I'm unemployed, so I'm rooting for my wife. I'm rooting for all the women out there to go make more money and support their men because apparently are men are not very useful, and women are going to be taking over the world. So all the men are going to basically be out of jobs. So I'm rooting for all the women out there to go and get a job and start grinding away and supporting all the men out there who are going to be now unemployed because basically for women to get paid equal to men will have to become unemployed. Men will have to leave the job market for that to happen. That's just my opinion. You just can't have equal pay if the job that's out there favor men more than women as far as pay. So in order for women to have an equal pay, the men will have to leave the job market. And I'm okay with that because if that means the men will stay home, if the men stay home, the women go out and work. I'm okay with that. I like that a lot. So I'm rooting for all the women out there to get equal pay, to get those jobs, so that all the men can stop working now and stay at home. Oh goodness. So nice to have you in the live chat, Thomas. For those who don't understand or don't know, um, Fridays Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. I didn't know there was no school today, or otherwise we would have live streamed on Sunday. But we live stream. I live stream with my youngest daughter, and we play Roblox together. We live stream that, and Thomas is from that live stream. So we play with Thomas. His Roblox character is George or Jorge. I don't know, George or Jorge. Spanish is Jorge. I'm not making fun of him. That's just Spanish. You know, I had a friend one time back when I was in California. I thought I was making fun of him because he was Hispanic, and his name was Henry, and I thought I was making fun of them by calling him Enrique because he was Hispanic, right? I'd be every time I saw him, I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Enrique?" When I first met him, I was trying to tease him because he's Hispanic, but his name is Henry. Well, I didn't realize um, Henry in Spanish is Enrique. Because at the time when I first met him, Enrique Iglesias, the singer, was very popular. So I was kind of making fun of him. I was calling them Enrique, but in Spanish, Henry in Spanish is Enrique. So he was like, yeah, that's my name, Enrique. It was like literally like 3 months went by before he told me like Enrique is Henry in Spanish, and now oh goodness. Yeah, you and Yellow are moderators when we do the live stream for Roblox. Well, welcome to the live chat. This is my Monday morning Bitcoin chart analysis. I was just telling everybody that we're gonna experience a nice price increase here, a nice price appreciation, but it's a false signal most likely. If you did take on a momentum trade, you're probably gonna most likely break even or take a loss unless you exit out of the trade at the right time, which I am saying it's around 23,000. That's probably where it's going to top out, most likely. But it could hit up to 25,000. It probably most likely is going to hit up to that moving average, the yellow moving average. Let me see if I can reset this here. That yellow line. But the problem is, by the time that happens, the yellow line is going to be moving downwards as the price is going to be moving upwards. So somewhere around 23, 24, it's probably where the resistance is going to be, and then it's going to just crash back down. That's what I'm predicting. Is Bitcoin cheap? Well, if you compare it to the all-time high of 69,000, yes, it's very cheap. And if you understand the cycle of Bitcoin and how it operates as a program, I would say as a program, there's something called the halvening. In other words, the amount of Bitcoin that come into creation, and I think there's 21 million. It's set to have a limit of 21 million, and we're almost at basically 90%, over 90. I think 98% to 21 million. What happens is it goes in half. So originally, when Bitcoin first started, if you mined a Bitcoin, and there's really no mining, it's just you're running a software on a computer for the most part. Okay, and it's a network for the most part. So, but you're mining, quote unquote mining, and you're rewarded for being a miner. You are given you're minting, or you're rewarded 25 Bitcoins. That was in the beginning, and the first person to ever do that was the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who that person is, supposedly. Anyways, since that time, I think it was 2015 is when it started. I'm not sure the original time, but since then, every 4 years, the mining reward goes in half, is cut in half, and so we're right now at, gosh, I don't know what the current mining reward is. I've been out of it so far. I don't concentrate so much on mining. I'm not a miner. I'm more in the aspect of the trader, the user. Let me see. What is the current? Current Bitcoin mining reward. What is the current Bitcoin mining reward right now? Okay, yeah, 6.25. So it's gone from 25 Bitcoins you were rewarded, and it was easy to do because you could literally mine on your like laptop. Now you need specialized uh, ASIC. What do they call them? ASIC miners, ASIC chips to mine Bitcoin now. So 6.25 is what you get now. In 2024, I think around March 2024, it's going to go down to 3 and what's half of a quarter? 3 and I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, this is my only stream today. I do this every Monday. Then my other stream, I do dry fire with the Mantis Blackbeard on my AR pistol. Reward in, let me see, 2024. Okay. What is the block reward? It's going to be 3.125 Bitcoin per block. I don't even know what that is in fractions. An eighth. 3 and an eighth. But yeah. So if you compare it, you have to understand the cycle in which it works. Hello, Commando. How you doing? Good to see you here. I'm a little surprised you're here. Shouldn't you all be in school? Unless you live in the Houston area, which they canceled school today so everyone can go to the Astros parade. So if you understand the cycle, we're in the price is in a low cycle. It'll probably go a little bit lower. And what usually happens is there's this halvening, but the price usually starts to creep up before that happens because everybody knows, well, not everybody, but the people who understand what's going on, they know what's going to happen. So they're buying up all the Bitcoin they can. The miners are not selling any more Bitcoin because they know that the amount of Bitcoin they're going to get rewarded is going to be half. And so they have a fixed cost. They have electricity, facility, miners to buy, payroll. They have a fixed cost, and they know they have to pay for that. So they're getting half the reward. The cost is fixed. They have to cover that cost. They're most likely not going to be selling because they're anticipating for the halvening, in which the price has to go up. The price is basic supply and demand. So they gave us a day for a teacher work day. Oh, they give you a teacher work day. Okay, cool. Looks like a lot of people aren't going to school today for some reason. But poor Thomas has to go to school even though it's snowing. Oh no. Well, I'm going to tell you the story what I tell my kids. Okay, I tell my kids that I went to school. All right, even if it snowed and I had to walk along the railroad every morning, and this is back when I was living out in Colorado Springs, out in Colorado. So it snowed. I had to walk to school. I had to walk along the railroad. I had to cross the railroad. I had to walk over a bridge, a road bridge, a freeway bridge, okay, to get to school. So that's what I tell my kids, even when it snowed. And I did that very often too. Oh, you don't have to go? You don't have to go to school today? That's good. Oh, so yeah, we're in a cycle here. So if you know what to do, yeah, Bitcoin is cheap compared to where it was. It was, let's see, where was the price at one point? Just to give you an idea. I'm gonna zoom this out. There you go. 69,000 was the peak. Right now we're in the panic sell-off. So there's a supply demand cycle when it comes to Bitcoin and how it's mined. There's also a social cycle. When I say social, I'm talking about people. And basically, what you have is there's a sucker born all the time. All right, there's a sucker born all the time, and they come into this world. All the newborns out there, and they grow up, and they eventually find their way into this market. And what happens is they become the greater fool. So what you have is they become the greater fool. They get into Bitcoin, and then they become the useful idiots. And once they become the useful idiots, because they're going out there talking about how great Bitcoin is, or they got into Bitcoin, that's the useful idiot, right? They do all the things. Okay, they do all the things that is very useful, and in I guess promoting cryptocurrency. You'll see it with NFTs, the same cycle. So this is the psychological cycle, the social cycle. And then after it peaks out to 69,000, which it did, now after becoming, okay, they start off, they're a noob, they become the greater fool, then they become the useful idiot. After that, they're the bag holder. So they end up holding the bag. All right, someone dumped their Bitcoin off onto the useful idiot. The useful idiot becomes now the bag holder, and takes a loss or is still holding. Now, if you understand the cycle, the best strategy, all right, is really to hodl. Hodl means hold. It was misspelled. All right, HOLD. Hodl. No, HODL. Someone misspelled it. It was one of the first crashes when Bitcoin actually started becoming a market, trading in exchanges. I think someone bought it at 300 and it crashed down to like a couple $3 or something like that. And they were drunk. They were on a forum and they misspelled hodl, or they misspelled hold. I'm gonna hold. They typed I'm gonna hodl, and that became a meme. So that became a meme essentially. And a lot of people think hodl means hold on for dear life, which is not true at all. So anyway, so you become the bag holder, and then what you do is you either take the loss, you never come back again. Okay, you contributed, your money has now in the Bitcoin economy, never to return to you, or you get deep into it, you learn your lesson, you understand how things work, you understand the cycle, and then you basically wait for the happening, and the cycle starts all over again. That's the human cycle. The noob comes into the market, becomes a greater fool, which they buy in, and becomes the useful idiot, eventually become a bag holder. And that cycle just repeats, and until you get enough people that are involved, and enough people have become involved into this market where it's now a real thing. It's become a viable, sustainable economy in itself. A lot of people are doing interesting things. It's just that when the noobs come in, I think they don't understand they're noob. It's like when you play a new game, you're a noob. But once you start learning, you understand how the game is played. So I'm trying to educate people, and the best strategy is just to hodl. It really is. You just have to. If I go back, all right, if I go back to like when the price is 300, and you can easily buy like $100, or when the price was $3. At some point, the price was $3. If you bought $100 worth, even at current prices, you probably would be at least a millionaire by now. At least a millionaire. So my point is, the best strategy when it comes to investing is really to buy and hold. It really is, and to stay in it for a while. and let other people pump up the price. And then when you need it or when you want to exit at a later time, and the interesting thing about crypto is that time moves so much faster. Um, it seems like it seems like 5 years in crypto trading is almost feels like 20 years. So, traditional markets, you can like be buying and holding for 20 years, and then you probably will be comfortable retiring. In cryptocurrency, I mean, if you're in it for 5 years, man, you're an old man. So if you could hold on for 5 years for the next pump cycle, and you can exit out at the next pump cycle, if you understand what's going on, then yeah, yeah. So let me see here. I'm going through all your chats. Well, unfortunately, we can play after the live stream. Today is only for cryptocurrency trading. Maybe we might do a live stream. Cotton Candy is here. You want to say hi, Cotton Candy? Thomas and Commando is here. They're watching the live stream.
Hello.
Yeah, so she's at home. So she'll probably be playing some Roblox.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Are you playing now?
No, just
You doing homework?
watching videos.
No, you're just watching videos. I told you to do homework. So now you're watching videos. You say fine, you go upstairs, you're just gonna watch more videos. Okay. So oh, that's interesting, Thomas. You said your grandpa bought some. He's dead right now, but he has some Bitcoin. Really interesting. That I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. Well, here's the interesting thing about it is, unless you have the private keys, all right. Unless you have the ability to send Bitcoin, that's pretty much locked up. If remember, these things don't exist in real life. So if you don't educate other people on how to use it, it's gone. It's gone. It may be gone. And that's another thing. Like, I would say more than half the Bitcoin out there right now is probably not usable because people forget their passwords. One guy, there's a famous story. One guy had, I think, over 3,000 Bitcoins on his laptop. He was mining Bitcoin. He was mining Bitcoin on his laptop. This is back when you could mine Bitcoin. This is when Bitcoin was like worthless. People were doing it just for fun. It was basically it was a meme at that point. And he had probably 3,000 Bitcoins. And then when the price went up to $1,000, he remembered he had all these Bitcoins on his laptop. The problem was he threw away his laptop. And it's in some landfill right now. And to this date, I think he's trying to recover his laptop from that landfill. He's trying to find a way to get it back. And so, yeah, that's kind of and the private keys were on his laptop. I guess he wasn't using a paper wallet or whatever, but basically, without his private key, all he could do is look on the blockchain and just see how much Bitcoin was on his laptop. He can't send it anywhere. He's just looking at it. So unless you understand how to use it, there is some technical skills you need to understand. There is some technical skills you need to understand. Private paper wallets are very useful, especially password protected paper wallets. And here's the crazy thing is, like, a lot of this technology is absolutely free. You don't have to buy these hardware wallets that these companies are trying to sell you. A lot of the wallets that you see on the App Store, I like. I personally like Coinami wallet. I think that's a really good wallet. It's really simple, and it also has the ability to have other cryptocurrencies. The reason why that works is a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are basically modeled after Bitcoin. So that's why you could have one app that will have multiple cryptocurrencies, because essentially all these other cryptocurrencies are a clone of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin being the original, the most widely accepted. That's why I never really promote other coins, because I just don't think in the long run they're going to survive. Bitcoin is probably the best, in my opinion. I'm what you call a Bitcoin maximalist. I believe in only one cryptocurrency, and that is Bitcoin. Everything else is a variation or a clone of Bitcoin, and the only reason why it's in existence is to take your money, to sell to the greater fool. All these other coins, and I'll show you how many there are. Let me see how many. Okay, so there are thousands and thousands. This is just one of 50 out of 1,042 pages. 50 of those. So there's literally over 50,000, right? Different kind of cryptocurrencies. Some of them are stable coins. Some are stable coins, but for the most part, their only purpose is to sell to the greater fool. That's the only purpose that these other coins have. The history of Ethereum is an interesting history, and Ethereum is basically a clone with less security and I think more experimentation. And there's a lot of bad experiments that went on with the Ethereum network that people have lost money, and also a lot of experimentation where they've actually gone, they've rewritten history, they've rewritten the blockchain, they've forked off to make some of their users whole again. So the whole point of cryptocurrency in the blockchain is basically to have it immutable. In other words, you cannot change history. You cannot take from one person and give to another, because of their poor decisions. So that's why I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. So far, yet to date, there has been no reversal in transactions. There have been no, not that I know of, any reversal in transactions. No rewriting of the blockchain. Many attempted forks. Some forks were intentional, but yeah. So a lot of these other cryptocurrencies out there in the market, their sole purpose, all right, is literally to sell to the greater fool and to make you a bag holder. And some of them are better at doing it because they've basically have less security features and more experimentation. They're experimenting with your money. Although Bitcoin is an experiment, but I find it to be the most secure as long as you understand the risk and how to use Bitcoin. So far, it's very secure. It's very secure. So, anyways, that's enough of me about ranting. I don't know if you, I don't know how old you guys are. I shouldn't be talking too much about this with you because, some may take it as financial advice. This is not financial advice whatsoever. But I'm just looking at this and making some predictions. That's some of the things I like to do. Let me refresh this. So, if anybody else out there, why is Bitcoin so much? Okay. Well, there is an intrinsic value to Bitcoin. I guess the simplest way to say it is that there's a cost to produce Bitcoin. All right, so there is a limit of 21 million. That limit will be hit, I think, around 2140. When is it going to hit? Let me see. When is that limit going to hit? Uh, Let me see. When will Bitcoin reach 21 million? Yeah, there it is. So 21 million is the limit in which the total supply of Bitcoins will be there. And let me see. 21 million will be by the end of 2078. So I guess by then, after everything's been mined, I guess the miners will still go. They won't get the reward anymore. They'll be compensated. If I'm not going to be alive by then, they're going to be compensated by the fees. When you trade Bitcoin, or when you send Bitcoin, when you use Bitcoin, when you receive, well, mostly when you send Bitcoin, you have to pay a fee to get the Bitcoin from point A to point B, from one user to another user. So I guess by that point, they'll be compensated by fees. But right now, they're being compensated by earning a reward for doing those transactions, and that reward is 6.25 Bitcoin. And so there's a cost in doing that and owning a mining farm. So there is some type of intrinsic value to it, because the miners have to cover the cost of operating a mining farm and recover that cost to keep the network going. So there is some intrinsic value. So that gives it a price. The other part about the price is what gives Bitcoin its price is the trading that goes on. And this is the chart. This is a chart that you're seeing. Let's have a look at the 5 minute. Is there anything going on in the 5 minute, 15 minute? Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. No, I messed up. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if there's No, it will not show. It will not show. All right. So what you're seeing is a chart, and this is based off of Bitstamp. So people are actually buying and selling these, and whoever is willing to buy it or whoever is willing to sell it, that's what's determining the price right now. And okay, so I'm looking at the chat here. Why is Bitcoin worth so much? Okay, so that is the current price, and what happens is there's a lot of people who put money into buying it, and unfortunately, once that money goes into the Bitcoin ecosystem, it doesn't come out, and so that money is fixed in there. A lot of people lose their money doing this because they don't have the private keys. They threw their laptop in the garbage. So that's work, energy that has been put into this market that they can't get back. They can't extract back out. So if you think about Bitcoin as a source of energy, how much energy you put into something is how much value it is. So if you put some time and effort and energy and money into it, that's essentially what gives it its value. And I would even go as far as to say that ultimately everything around you in this whole world, most everything, but I would say almost everything, almost everything of value in this world that you're witnessing, most of its value is derived directly from the sun that basically powers everything. Oil, is basically from the sun. Hey, Commando. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. So oil comes from the sun. A lot of a lot of what you a lot of the materials you have that is made, the energy to make it is directly or somehow indirectly coming from the sun. So I would even argue everything that has value is directly correlated or derives its value from the sun. That's kind of my crazy theory. And then, okay, why? How can you buy Bitcoin? I guess you can buy it from a person who has it. So if you can find someone who has it, then yeah, you can buy it from them directly. It's like buying a candy bar from someone. The question is, can you find someone that has it? That's the hard part. Other options are going to exchanges, but I think you have to be over 18. You have to be an adult. But the easiest and quickest way is to find someone that has it and see if you can buy it from them. And you could be of any age to do that. Anyways, let's see, how long have I been talking here? Man, I've been ranting. Okay, usually it's a short, this is a short live stream, but anyways, I'll wrap it up here real quick. And basically, the price is gonna go up. It will probably most likely hit 23,000, maybe even 24. I'll be surprised if it goes beyond 25,000. But after that, it'll probably crash back down into the bear market range, which I think that's kind of what it's gonna do, and then we'll go through the whole cycle again. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider joining membership. Thanks, Thomas. I'll see you later. And every week I do this. When I get a new candlestick, we'll analyze the chart. We'll take a look, and of course we'll have some fun and engage with each other. Until next time, everybody. See y'all later. Bye.